I'm Joyce Nam Ford. I am on the TSA committee as the legal advisor. I have my own practice. I have been practicing as an attorney solidly for close to 30 years without interruption. The practice is called Nam Ford Attorneys. I, as the Nam, deal with legal issues. Ford is my husband, who manages the business operations and the finances of the practice. The practice is not made up of Alf and I, but also a team of good lawyers and our dedicated staff members. And we are also assisted by James as a translator. We have a variety of clients, from the individual to the corporate client. I've been on the panel of the banks for the last 30 years. I also represent Chinese state-owned companies in regard to commercial litigation and property development. James assists me with bridging the gap between the Chinese companies and ourselves to get back to TCA. Because I had my own practice, I was instructed by TCA to represent them and the broader Chinese community in bringing the hate speech case. I'm sure the community is well aware of this case. It could not be done without the assistance of the committee members. Irwin Pon, our chairman, he was a sterling witness. We prepared him well and he sustained vigorous cross-examination successfully. Francis Lahong, the vice chairperson, also assisted. He attended all the strategic meetings. He has been in media and was involved in fundraising. And James, he's the Chinese secretary of TCA, assisted with being the bridge to the broader Chinese community and in fundraising. To give you an update, it has been quite a process and a journey, this hate speech case, which was instituted in the Equality Court, the High Court. We are currently waiting for a trial date to finalize the matter. Once I've got a date, the community will be notified. I thank the community for their tremendous support. I am not charging, but the advocates who will be arguing the matter in the finalization of the matter need to be paid. I'm also currently involved through the efforts and dedication of Walter Pon, who negotiated with the New York brothers, which culminated in them agreeing to donate certain property situated in Chinatown to the TCA. TCA will be engaging with the community, as the buildings will be for the benefit and use of the Chinese community. Nam Ford will also be attending to the transfer. Something else that's close to my heart that I'm involved in is assisting the youth. We have bright young students. Their families unfortunately cannot afford the tuition fees or the accommodation costs. I, with the TSA committee, assist in fundraising. Paulette Leon, our treasurer, assists with the applications, in collating the applications, encouraging applicants to apply. I assist in vetting and making a short list of the applicants, interviewing them, and in conjunction with the TSA committee, we decide which applicants should be awarded the bursary and the amounts thereof. I keep in touch with some of the applicants or the successful recipients of the bursary. They are expected to assist the TCA and the broader Chinese community in the future. I welcome, I think it's time that we have new blood, new ideas in TCA, and we look forward to young and old coming forward to offer their services. Have a good day, and wishing you all a happy Heritage Day.
far as the Chinese community is concerned, I always believe that there should be order in the universe. Things should be done properly and for a good reason, and ultimately must benefit the Chinese community. Otherwise, why are we doing it? So, if we look at the situation going forward compared to looking back in the past, our association has existed for 103 years plus, and in those days the adversary effect that brought all the Chinese together was the apartheid system, and also the Group Areas Act that was resultant from that. That made us stick together as a community, and if apartheid had not taken place, I think we'd be in a totally different situation. I think we'd be far more integrated with the rest of South African society down the road, and we would not probably be here sitting with third or fourth or fifth generation Chinese and still have cultural ties and still have people that can speak Chinese and write Chinese. But then going forward, I see a different TCA. I see that a two-tone TCA, one TCA being that of the old members that are less tech savvy, and then you have the new members that are descendants of the old members that are all in professional jobs these days, and they are a lot more technically advanced than unfortunately we are. So you can reach them quite easily via social media, whereas the older members of our group are still relying on older methods of communication. So you have to be careful. You can say that the older community are dying out because of immigration and natural aging process, but the young community also are not exactly going to be based here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. They are highly qualified and they are quite mobile, and they are able to emigrate to other countries for greener pastures if they so wish. And that is unfortunately a problem that the TCA has going forward, that we are going to face diminishing numbers from membership from both our older and our newer generation. And so I think the solution must lie in the fact that although there are many people that have left South Africa, they still have South African roots. And so TCA's boundaries must extend beyond South Africa going forward. With social media, you can actually reach people that you would never have been able to reach using the old methods of communication. So we have that as a positive. The other passion that drives me currently is that I'm a very proud Chinese person. I'm very amazed and very proud of what China has achieved in the last 2 or 3 decades, from being a relatively poor rural community into probably going to be the biggest economy within the next 5 or 10 years. So I'm very proud of them. I'm not saying that we don't have problems. I'm saying, we do have problems, but then so does every other country. But unfortunately, the Western press and social media, we have had so much negative anti-Chinese sentiment lately, unjustifiably so, I think. So my passion is to actually find a way to combat this, and we have tried at the TCA various methods. I think the way not to go is to come out with a list of pros against every con that's been accused against China. So that just gets trashed by everybody that has a one-sided view on China anyway. There must be other subtle ways we can use, which we're working on at the moment, to get the point across that although things are not perfect in China, it still is not the demon that the rest of the Western world are trying to paint us into. We definitely, I think, are tarnished with a very poisoned brush at the moment. So these are things I will be working on within the TCA with the rest of the committee going forward, and with other community bodies and groups as well.
China has 3,500 plus years of recorded written history and is one of the principal cradles of civilization. It has achieved what no other country in the history of mankind has achieved, lifting 800 million people out of abject poverty, and it will soon regain the number one spot in the world. No other country that has dropped from its number one spot has regained that spot. China will be the first. Our cultural values are based on benevolence, courtesy, harmony, honesty, loyalty, righteousness, wisdom, and respect for our elders. Heritage is the foundation and keystone of our identity, and we must remember and respect our old and dignified culture, especially in today's world where the global media seeks to disparage China's achievements. We must not let that happen, and we must retain our self-respect and dignity and national pride. We look forward to China's continued success. Happy Heritage Day.